Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury. Caitlin Clark will be missing tonight's game versus the Los Angeles Sparks. The venue will be open. Out with a left groin injury. We go from a quad to a quad to a groin.
She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does.
Gainbridge Fieldhouse is almost empty, 2 hours before tip, and you can hear the HVAC system hum above the squeak of a mop. The practice lights are on, not the game lights, so the hardwood looks slightly dull. This is where the chapter starts. Caitlin Clark in gray sweatshorts and a baggy shooting shirt, standing still. 1 foot on the sideline, the left leg wrapped in a thick web of black kinesio tape that climbs up past her hip. She bounces a ball once just to feel it, but she doesn't shoot. The team's head athletic trainer, Tommy Patterson, checks the tension of the tape, nods, and marks something on an iPad. Clark shakes her head. Feels like rubber, she mutters, half to herself. It's supposed to immobilize, not stretch, Patterson reminds her. She forces a smile, but the camera can see the strain behind the eyes. 3 straight games of bricks, 1 made triple, and a groin that stings every time she lifts her knee above waist level. Across the court, Coach Stephanie White watches the tiny scene unfold. White has tried to ignore the swelling panic on social media. Why can't you fix the offense? Why is Clark still playing 40 minutes, but a coach can't ignore a limp? She closes her practice plan, sighs, and calls the session off. Nothing gained by another round of light cuts and ball screens if the star can't plant.
Caitlin Clark is going to miss tonight's game, and she's got a groin injury. I have been banging the drum online and on here for the last 2 weeks saying there's something wrong with her legs. There's something going on. Is it the nagging quad injury? But it's something to do with the lower half of her body. It is a groin injury. Now we've got an idea of why she's struggling from long range, where it requires, some real push.
Caitlin Clark is out again with an injury, which is the worst thing you can hear if you're a fan of the Indiana Fever, and really if you're a fan of the WNBA. Because obviously Clark is the engine that makes the Indiana Fever go and is the single biggest driver of interest in the WNBA, and it's not close. And anytime somebody is out of the lineup, you get concerned, especially when it's Clark, obviously, considering she had already been injured earlier this year and is now out with what is being dubbed a left groin issue.
The public relations manager issues the bland injury report. Clark, out. Left groin strain, and within 40 minutes ESPN, Bleacher Report, every WNBA podcaster, and half of basketball Twitter are pushing the notification. The building groans a little, almost physically. You can feel the wind go out of the place. Spin back 8 days. Fever versus Liberty in Brooklyn. Everyone remembers the stat line, 6 points, 1-4, 10 from 3, but the more telling image is Clark rubbing the top of her thigh during the third quarter timeout. She missed a deep left wing triple short and grimaced as she backpedaled. Announcers blamed tired legs, but tired legs don't normally cause a player to pull on her shorts at the exact spot where the adductor meets the pelvis.
The only reason the WNBA will suffer is because they don't know how to market their games. Because they rely on being a one-trick pony. That's just like if you're a content creator and I make 1 viral video, but after I go viral, I stop making videos. That's the problem with the WNBA. They don't know how to make their league popular. They don't know how to celebrate their league and their players. See, Caitlin brought everybody to the WNBA because she has a rare skill that nobody in the WNBA has.
That spark, a little dimmer. The fire, still there.
Film geeks later slow-mo that play. On the gather, the left knee bows inward ever so slightly. With no large muscle group to finish the chain, the shot floats instead of stings. This is the moment the groin first screams. Shift the lens from hardwood to turnstiles. Indiana averaged 4,200 fans before the lottery ball that delivered Caitlin. Opening night of her rookie year sells 17,274 seats, full house, and a fire marshal warning for the concourse.
Indiana Fever just lost a really tough game against the Los Angeles Sparks, and it comes back to the four things the Indiana Fever always have trouble with: missed layups, missed free throws, interior defense, and rebounding. That is why the Indiana Fever lost this game, and that's why they cannot be a championship team, in my opinion. You have to be able to get stops. You have to be able to rebound the basketball when you do force stops. But there was some positives in this game as well that we have to get into. Kelsey Mitchell was spectacular. I love to see her furthermore breaking her shooting slump. She had 20 points today on 44% shooting from the three-point line, so you like to see her have 3 back-to-back games in a row.
Merchandise kiosks triple their stock. Parking lots 2 blocks away bump rates from $10 to $30. Local TV affiliates fight for rights packages they once dismissed as filler between minor league hockey and county fair tractor pulls. Translation: Clark is not just a star. She is the entire budget revision in real time. The Fever front office knows it. They also know every game she misses erodes that sudden flush of cash. When the groin report drops, ticket exchange prices for the Sparks game fall 40% in 2 hours. That's why front office emails fly the moment the injury alert hits. How long is day-to-day really? Even the interns can read the subtext.
Her pre-game routine, she was doing some things differently. Some fans also noticed that she had her upper left leg taped during a couple of those games. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things pointing to the fact that something wasn't right. And I have to be totally honest with you guys, I'm not surprised by this news at all. I was just having a conversation with my fiance last night, and I told him, I was like, I think Caitlin's hurt. I'm not going to be surprised if sometime soon the Indiana Fever pulls her and sits her for a few games. I think she is still battling some sort of injury. And less than 12 hours later, the news dropped from the Fever. But it's a tough blow not only to Caitlin, because we know that she loves to be on the court. It's a tough blow for the Indiana Fever because that is their superstar. Whether she is playing to the best of her abilities or not, they are still a better team with her on the court.
When can we start selling the comeback narrative? And please don't say 3 weeks. While Clark ices, Dana Bonner is packing. She's signed to be veteran ballast, a second ball handler, a locker room grown-up, a scorer. When defenses loaded to Clark, but her own field goal percentage cratered, her minutes dipped, and the benching in Game 11 triggered something nuclear. She asked for a trade, got frustrated by the speed of negotiations, and then went full radio silence, scrubbing Fever photos from Instagram. The younger players notice. They whisper on the flight to LA. The vibe is unsettled. No Clark, no Bonner. Missing big Alana Dantas due to a Mary Cup duty and a looming back-to-back against NECA Aguamike Sparks. Coach White calls a team meeting in the hotel ballroom. She tries the next woman up speech, talks about resiliency, points at Kelsey Mitchell and says, "This is your floor now." Mitchell nods. She'll drop 20 the next night. But everyone understands the subtext.
The cat is out the bag, dog, for Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. It's being reported that she has suffered a left groin injury and she is out. Now, we all knew Caitlin Clark's health was a major issue. She has simply been playing some of the worst basketball of her career, and a lot of people, even myself, has been pretty vocal about Caitlin Clark and this shooting slump. A lot of people was blaming it on the front office. That's why I didn't even go down that line and produce content blaming it on the front office. There had to have been a reason why Caitlin simply wasn't Caitlin, and I told y'all, sources was telling me that something was bothering.
Without Clark's gravity, the offense is a half-finished blueprint. Pause on one hot-button subplot. Officiating. Clark leads the league in time spent on the deck, and she does not lead in charges taken. Replay after replay shows glancing blows at the arc missed, hip checks redirected as body up legal, and face masks dislodged without a whistle. Analysts call it rookie tax, old school fans call it earn your stripes, but new viewers, drawn in by the Clark phenomenon, see only inconsistency that borders on neglect. The league office issues a mid-season memo. Officials will re-emphasize freedom of movement and prioritize player safety. Yet, 2 nights later, Clark catches a forearm from a weak side stunt, lands awkwardly, comes up rubbing that left hip again. and the whistle stays silent. Twitter storms, talk radio rants, and a YouTube compilation titled "Every Missed Fall on Caitlin Clark, June 2025" racks up 2.5 million views in 36 hours. The optics are horrendous. The biggest draw looks targeted. The refs look overwhelmed, and leadership appears absent. Back in Indianapolis, White sits with the training staff. The MRI shows no tear, just strain and inflammation. Standard rest timeline 5 to 10 days if you're cautious, shorter if you're desperate. The team is 7-11, clinging to a play-in slot that only exists because ticket sales demanded an expanded postseason last CBA.
Dealing with an injury, not looking like herself, the game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlin Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlin Clark might be going through something, salute to you. Clearly, you all saw what that person that stands there like this can't see.
You do look at it, and you take a look at the injury. Stephanie White spoke about it, so let me give you the latest. This all just came out, so this is all as I speak. Basically, Tony East, shout out to him. This is the video of Stephanie White discussing the Caitlin Clark injury.
With Caitlin, when did you guys find out about this groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back to back.
White must decide, fight for every W now or stash Clark until the tissue heals and risk falling out of contention. She remembers last season's Liberty run. Staying healthy late mattered more than early seeding. She leans conservative. Clark will miss at least 2 games. But that answer triggers marketing calls, pushes, pleads. Can't she dress? Maybe take a cameo shift? White locks her phone, leaves them on read. She will not gamble a career over a July gate. Day 1. Ice. Compression sleeves. Light stationary bike. She hates the bike. Feels like wasted motion, but the trainer insists blood flow speeds healing. In the weight room, she does core activation. Dead bug pulses, slow pelvic tilts, 60-second forearm plank. She feels the groin tug on every exhale. Day 2. Isometrics. Place a soft ball between the knees. Squeeze at 40% intensity for 10 seconds. Release. Repeat. Then band walks. Yellow TheraBand around the ankles. Sidestep 20 feet. Return. Groin twitches halfway. Stop. Rest. Ice again. Day 3. Pool session. Aqua jogging. No gravity. Low risk. The underwater camera shows symmetrical stride. Good sign. She asks to shoot on the floor after. Trainer says tomorrow. Day 4. Half-court standstill catch and shoot. 25 makes for mid-range, no deep balls yet. Effort level 60%. She's bored out of her skull, but the pain scale stays under 2/10. Day 5. Extended warm-up. Wonderful pull-ups. She wants to test the step back. Staff vetoes it. The team charter leaves for Dallas without her. She does film study alone, Bluetooth earbuds in, scribbling notes about Dallas's weak side help rotations. Day 6. Jumps from the volleyball line, half speed, form only. Fatigue triggers mild soreness. Back to ice. She's frustrated, but the trainer reminds her, hurt today means healthy tomorrow.
Can we stop treating Caitlin Clark like she's some type of villain? The hate that she gets from the other players in the WNBA is unmatched, and I don't understand it. All she's trying to do is put the WNBA on the map and raise it to another level, which is all she has done since she's gotten into the league. Ticket sales are through the roof. Sold out arenas because of Caitlin Clark. The ratings are through the roof. You've got more eyes and more people watching the WNBA now more than ever because of Caitlin Clark. And y'all steadily want to speak bad on her name. Y'all want to flagrant foul, try to fight her, mess her up in the games. Not regular basketball fouls. These are blatant flagrant fouls trying to hurt this girl.
Mitchell tries to carry the scoring, but without Clark's spacing, defense collapse into the paint. Nalissa Smith faces double teams she hasn't seen since Baylor. Rookie guard Chelsea Kennedy logs a career-high 31 minutes, shoots 2, 4, 12. Fever lose by 14, rebound margin -18. Post-game Zoom. White repeats the mantras. We'll be better when we're whole. Reporters keep asking for a Clark timeline. White offers day-to-day. While the Fever are in Dallas, Bonner's agent leaks that Phoenix and Atlanta are actively engaged. Social feeds explode. Why would Atlanta risk chemistry? Is Phoenix assembling Super Team 2.0 around Taurasi's farewell? Bloggers repost Bonner's old practice scrimmage footage with Brittany Griner, claim the duo always wanted to reunite. Fever fans react with memes. Hope the door doesn't bruise you on the way out. But Clark texts Bonner a simple line. Hope you find what you need. No hard feelings. She understands career turbulence better than most after 6 college nil endorsement deals, a rookie max, and a nationwide brand tag within 30 months. National broadcasters plan upcoming WNBA Wednesday slates. Without Clark, ratings projections dip. Advertising executives renegotiate CPM rates. The commissioner's office schedules an emergency call with franchise owners. If the star sits another 10 days, what's the contingency to maintain momentum?
Defended pretty aggressively throughout this season. These WNBA women is not taking any breaks with Caitlin Clark, and it's starting to get disturbing. I just did a video yesterday showing you guys the referees not calling certain fouls, allowing Caitlin Clark to constantly get hacked up and down the court. This is sad, man, and I'm hoping she get a speedy recovery. Maybe she sit out a game or 2. But guys, we got the Commissioner Cup coming up. We got the All-Star game coming up. This is the second damn injury Caitlin Clark has suffered this season.
One owner suggests flexing Liberty Aces into primetime every week. Another counters that the Midwest markets will revolt. The call ends with no resolution, only a promise to monitor developments. Sports medicine specialists appear on morning shows, explaining groin anatomy and recovery. Twitter strength coach bros post homemade diagrams. Everyone becomes an expert. Reddit threads run 50 comments deep on whether Clark should skip the All-Star events. Half argue it's her duty, the other half scream, protect the asset. A petition circulates demanding the league hire an independent refereeing czar. Someone else tracks foul disparities. Indiana opponents have attempted 112 more free throws than the Fever since opening night. The data goes viral. Day 7. Closed practice. 30% speed 5-on-0 shell drill. She runs lane to lane, trails for a top-of-key triple. Swish, but she lands gingerly. Trainer calls it. She slaps the ball in frustration, but doesn't argue. Day 8. Light scrimmage. Red versus white. 4 possessions. On the second break, she pushes off the left leg into a Euro step. Finishes. Lands clean. Everyone stops. Waits. She nods. I'm good. Trainer approves 5 more possessions. No setbacks. Day 9. Contact practice. Nalissa Smith tests her with a bump on a curl. Clark holds ground. Dishes a pocket pass. No tweak. Pain, level 1/10. White tells reporters afterward. Encouraging. The franchise posts a 30-second hype clip. Slow motion door opening. Clark lacing shoes. Graphic text she's back. Ticket resale sites explode again. Opposing team sells 4,000 extra seats overnight. White meets with Clark in her office. Minute restriction hard capped at 25. No back-to-back nights for at least a week. Immediate exit if she feels a twinge. Clark agrees, but privately she plans to play 30 if the game is close.
They're very good at Gainbridge. Caitlin Clark is very good at Gainbridge, shooting about 45% on her three-pointers at home versus, I think, 6% on the road. It's been a very bad shooting season for Caitlin Clark away from home. They need their offense to travel, and it has not. So it's a point of concern if the Fever can't figure out how to turn this around, especially because they're a little bit shorthanded too. You know, they're missing Damaris Dantas for the AmeriCup, so they're a little thinner than you might have expected for a team that supposedly added up so much depth during the offseason. They're smaller, they're not rebounding the ball particularly well, and it looks great when like the crowd's behind them and momentum is going at home, and then the minute some adversity hits, like there's just a lack of punch.
Competitors don't like caps. Telecast opens on Clark jogging through the tunnel, earbuds in, lip-syncing a lyric only she hears. The crowd roars louder for pre-game warm-ups than they once did for player intros. During the national anthem, she bounces on both feet, subtle test, making sure the groin holds. First possession, she dribbles left, braces for contact, kicks to the corner. No whistle, but no pain. On defense, she fights through an off-ball cross screen, absorbs a hip, stays upright. After the whistle, she flicks her jersey, as if shaking off doubt. She ends the night with 17 points on 5 of 10 shooting for Trays, 5 assists, 24 minutes. Fever win by 6. Cameras catch White exhaling like she set down a suitcase she carried across an airport. The groin will need maintenance all season, daily treatment, strict recovery windows, maybe a few DNP management nights on long road trips. The refereeing issue remains under magnifying glass. League observers claim a correction in free throw differential over the next month. Dana Bonner ultimately lands in Phoenix, reuniting with Griner. Indiana receives a 2027 first-rounder and cap relief, which they now vow to spend on a backup point guard so Clark can sit real minutes without the offense collapsing. And the Fever's marketing department? They redesign season ticket ads. Protect the future. Watch her soar. Implicit promise. We learned our lesson. Our superstar will be given room to fly, not driven into the ground. Caitlin Clark walks out of the arena that night carrying an ice bag taped around her waist, but there's a slight swagger to her gait again. She's not 100% yet, but she's trending upward, and the league, refs, execs, opponents knows it.
Game on.